Sorry about that. Hello, hello. Oh, don't you like this? The light behind my hair. Angelic. Hi, our brothers. Who in the world are you? I haven't met you yet. And where do you hearken from? And are there two of you? Must be more than one. So, so here we are. We're in Holland, as you know. We started, today we went to Utrecht, Utrecht, where we visited with Willem's brother and wife. And we went to a museum. We just went to Utrecht and we took a train there. I lost my card. It wasn't my card at all, but we topped it up with all this money so that it would work and we could take the train. And then I think I lost it. Well, I must have lost it because I didn't have it afterwards. But we went to, being in Utrecht was very interesting. There were lots of people on the road. There were lots of bicycles. Hundreds and hundreds, parked along the roadside, along the edge of the canal. There's a canal, and the water is very low down in the canal, and then there's all these houses, or circles and doors down there on the level of the water. And then up above it is the street and the shops. And so you have the canal, and then a little fence, and then you have rows and rows and rows and rows of bicycles for a long way. And then you have a little road which is made of brick, red brick, narrow brick, so it's very old. It depends whereabouts you are, but it is old. And then, and the bicycles use the road, and I think there were some cars parked. No, there weren't any cars parked anywhere. Well, maybe one or two here and there, but not much. So there was a narrow sidewalk. We're in the Netherlands, so now it is what time? It is 9:45. We just got home, so we still have lots of energy. And also General Conference is on now, so it starts in 15 minutes. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints General Conference. It's so uplifting, such beautiful talks. Tonight it's from, well, at home it would have been, well, in Utah, I guess it's in the morning there. 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 2 hours on, 2 hours off. So tonight for us here it's 8 to 10, 12 to 2, 4 to 6. But they're on YouTube, so we'll watch them tomorrow. Willem's going to try and watch the 10 o'clock one, I think. Anyway, so we went to this museum. I can't remember what it's called exactly. But it's in Utrecht, and it's a music museum. They have music boxes. Willem has a music box that's about 1.5 feet long. Hi, Susan. And she, oh look, 5 people already, and only 1 thumbs up. What is that about? So on Saturdays, I think, in Utrecht, there's a street organ. And it's an organ it's like a player piano. It's a player organ. You have to crank the handle, or sometimes you can flip a switch. Well, I think mostly they crank the handle. And they have these books, which are just, remember how the old computer paper was, where it was all one long piece, and it was folded this way, then that, and this, that, making a stack? Well, there's these music books that are like that, and they're kind of made out of a thin cardboard. And it feeds that. It's like computer cards with the holes in them. All these things that the younger generation doesn't know about. Computer cards with holes in them, or computer paper that was all attached together. And they think that we don't know anything about the internet. Anyway, so after all, we created it, right? Our generation. Actually, my mother's generation created it. I was young when it came out. I'm 66 now, and I was in my 30s, I guess. Maybe I was 39 or 38. Anyway, so so this museum was all these musical instruments that were like music boxes with the big cylinder with little bumps on it, and as it turns around, it moves the little. Well, you've seen a music box with the little dancing lady, and a little cylinder that turns around, there's bumps on it, and it moves all the little pieces of metal, and they all make a certain sound. And so you get songs played like that. So this was these are organs that are huge and very ornate, not like an organ, more like a scene, like ladies and men and with instruments and flowers and beautiful pastel colors and very nice shapes. And it was and then there was a tour guide, and she would crank the handle in the back and play these songs, and it was just beautiful, just beautiful. Some were quite loud, some were not, some were smaller, like boxes that would sit on a table. And I guess it was the big deal. It was fashionable, I don't know when, anytime after the 1500s, I guess. It was fashionable to have one in your living room, and it was sort of showed off how wealthy you were to have one. And one of them had like a scene. It was like a diorama. Is that what it's called? Where you have these. It's like three-dimensional. You know, you look into it, and it's got layer of trees, and another layer, flat one, another layer of flat trees behind it, and maybe it's got people in it or birds or something, but or scene at the background. But it's very flat in Holland. But some of them were from Germany, and some were from Belgium. And Germany has more hills. I guess in the south of Germany they have. Is it the Alps? Are they in Germany as well as France and Switzerland? Anyway, it's all down in the south area. Anyway, so it was really interesting to be there. And I even got, for Abraham's birthday, Abraham listens to music all the time. And so they had this little tiny box, and you turn the handle, and it plays for Elise. They had one for Beethoven and Bach and Mozart and Scarlatti and Brahms. Anyway, and I thought that Abraham would like this one, and so he can crank it if he's ever without music, and he can he can just play with it. I don't know if he'll like it or not. He might not. In which case, I will take it back, and the little grandchildren can play with it. I also got a keychain with a flat one of these street organs on it. It's beautiful, beautiful design with holes in it, where it's to look like something. Anyway, very pretty. And so that's what we did. And before we went, I made this basket for Inika, my sister-in-law. She's my age, and she's married, of course, to Willem's brother. And we have so much in common. It was just, but they walk all the time, all the time. It's nothing to walk anywhere. They just walk. And my 96-year-old mother-in-law, 95 until a couple of weeks, she needed to get some things at the store, and we had the car, so she decided she would just walk. And she took her walker, and she had to sit down on it and rest about halfway there, but she thought, well, why not? I'll try it. And I thought, I'm so much like that. Well, I'll try, and if I don't get there, I'll just stop. And I used to do that with my walker, go as far as I could, and then I'd sit, have a book, or I'd have my camera, or, I would just have something to do when I got that far. Now I'm carrying my sketchbook everywhere. Oh, and Inika is also a sketch teacher, and she looked through my sketches, and she had nice things to say about it. I thought that was pretty nice because she's being a teacher, she knows, and anyway, that was all fun. It was very nice. I enjoyed it. And we had a very nice meal. What did we have? Well, for lunch, they had these big square buns, and I couldn't eat any, so she made a salad for me. Hi, Regina. In Florida, are you? Are you still in Florida? Don't tell me you've come back already to the northern cold. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine down there. And getting a tan, not burning yourself, of course. The sun must be hotter than it used to be. How come you can see through my hair? I could never see through my hair before. My hair was very, very thick. I guess that's just because I'm becoming more angelic. Hi, Carter Stevenson. I have never met you. Tell me something about yourself. Where are you from? Oh, you're back home already. Oh, my goodness. So that must have been quite the drive. You drove all the way down and stayed and drove all the way home? You took the grandkids. Oh, yes, Destin. I remember they have big houses in Destin, don't they? We took a tour. Of course, I was on a press trip. Oh, you're from Colorado. Well, that's nice, Carter. I don't have my pen and paper down, or I would write that down. Oh, you were only there for 3 days, or it took you 3 days to get there? 3 days to get there, sounds like it. Yes, I love Florida. Not so much all the people, but I love the tourism. But I love the big plants that grow up the trees. You know, they're the big leaves on familiar plants. Just so lush. And I love how the clouds are right there. You can reach up and lasso one and pull it down like the moon. You know, should you wish to do that to the moon, you could. 3 days there. Only took 15 hours to drive there. Oh, and you stayed for 3 days. And where did you stay? Did you know somebody, or did you stay in a hotel? Wow. 3 days down. You know, it would have taken me, if I had driven to Florida from Wisconsin, that's as far as from here. It took me 5 days. But you know, I would drive the back roads. I would drive the highway some of the time, but I get tired of it. It was too much to just drive and drive and drive. So I would pull off and find a stream on the back road somewhere and tie my hammock up between some trees, or I would then lay down and journal or something. You went broke when you were there, I bet, with 5 kids. Oh my gosh, just eating one meal, that would break the bank. My bank, anyway, the bank of mom. I told my children a few years ago, the bank of mom is closed. My traveling son, you know, sometimes he would be unable to access his money because of the whatever would happen between here and China or Vietnam or Japan, and so the bank of mom was open. But now the bank of mom is closed. The bank of grandma. You next time go alone. Yes, I could come with you. Yes, we could do it together. We could all go. I could meet you somewhere and we could go from there together. That would be fun. All of us, all of you, you can all come. You know, Mary Jane and I took a trip down to Georgia once from here, and we went through Pittsburgh and we saw Darla. Do you know Darla? She's on here too. Yes, let's plan it, by all means. It'll give us something to look forward to. We should go in the winter. Trouble is, driving in the winter is a lot of trouble. If it's nice on the way down. Oh well, the weather, you can never tell. You never predict the weather anymore. So it snowed again today. It snowed yesterday. It didn't snow much today. There were just flurries in the air, a few snow pellets. You know, at home we don't get snow pellets. We get fine, fine snow. But sometimes you get snow pellets when it's closer to freezing. And then if it's really close to freezing, we get very large flakes, packy snow. You can step on it and it'll compress. And then all you have to do is roll it, make a little snowball and roll it, and you end up with this huge snowball that you can't lift to make your snowmen, of course. I learned that I was telling a friend, well, a new friend, one of the people we went to see yesterday was Lynn, and she does acupuncture and acupressure. And I was saying, when I showed her my drawings, I showed her my drawings, and she said that, and I said that, you know, I could see that this was the shape of the line, but when I went to draw it, it wasn't coming out that shape at all. It was coming out a different shape, and that didn't happen for me before. I used to be able to see the shape, decide to draw exactly that shape, and it would happen. And so I think my hands are not dexterity. And she said, you put your hands straight and keep your hand level, and then you do like this, and you pull it tightly and open them, and tightly and open them, and tightly, and you don't bend it. You just do your fingers, and that hurts. And that's one of the muscles, the ones to do for get your hands back. Another one is to take your hands and hold them out in front of your body and go like this. And and then go like, yeah, that was the one. To go like this, and to go like that and that. Gee, my fingers are crooked, aren't they? They're not coming down straight anymore. I don't know if they ever were straight, but they're certainly not straight now. Some of them are turning. Oh, and you can see through them. Da-dum, da-dum. Did you ever put a flashlight in front of your hand and see if you could see through your hand? See if I can do that against this light. No, you can't see through my hand. The very important things that I like to do. Anyway, I had a great day. I loved driving there and driving back with the GPS. Are you enjoying yourselves? Yes, indeed. I hope so. When you do leave to go home, I've not been keeping up. Well, it's a 17-day trip from flying day to flying day, so we fly on the 8th. And we get home about midnight. So I hope we don't have to quarantine or anything. Yes, I bet you have arthritis in your hands. I find that, like doing the repetitive things like knitting and anything repetitive. My mother used to type, and her fingers were all crooked. Anyway, this is something I'm going to try and do more of it. Oh, and the other thing to do, she's got these 2 balls. They're Japanese or Chinese balls, and you put them in your hand. They're quite big, and they make a musical sound when they roll. And you take them and you 30 times you put one in front of the other. 30 times you rotate them. And you do that with each hand. And then after you get good at 30 times of doing that with the 2 balls, and they're very hard balls. They're glass or something very solid like that, like big marbles. And when you get good at 30 times, then you do it so they don't touch each other, which takes even more dexterity to keep them apart. And this is supposed to help me with my being able to draw so my lines are the way I think they should be. It's fun to have a new project like drawing everything I can see. I think even on the airplane on the ride home I will draw. And probably if I can download the conference talks on YouTube by then I can watch those videos on the way home too. I think there's 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, there's 10 hours of conference, which is each talk is 20 minutes or less. Those balls, yeah, the round balls, I'm not sure where you can find them. But this is supposed to be really good for you. Turning like that, you got to keep your wrist straight, and then open. Close them and open them. She said I have to cut my nails, but I'm not going to cut my nails. They'll just grow back anyway. Aren't they nice? I'm really lucky to have nice nails. Nice nails, nice hair, nice feet. Haha, that's so cool, eh? Anyway. The blessings. We all get different blessings, don't we? It was so interesting today with those bicycles. Oh, I wanted to ride a bicycle. I so much want to ride a bicycle. I love the way it feels when you ride a bicycle, especially in a town like Utrecht or, and they have roads for the bicycles. You don't just get a skinny part on the edge of the road. You get a whole double wide sidewalk. You've got a sidewalk width to go. But if you're, there's the road, and then well, not in town. There's the road, and you are kind of sharing the road with the cars, but a very narrow road in the city. It's a centrum, so there's not much cars at all. Not cars aren't usually allowed in some of these places, but on the other roads, the paved roads where the cars are on the paved roads.
School starts.
Okay, I think I'll see it later.
Okay.
I'll join you later. So so it's on YouTube. Look up General Conference, and it'll be live right now. From 12 o'clock to 2, 4 to 6, and 8 to 10 in Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, they're very good talks. Oh my goodness. You know, I think that the world has lost having standards, you know. It used to be a time that there were standards of behavior, and the standards have all gone out the window. And I think that people don't know what's right and what's wrong, and they just do whatever they want to do because nobody teaches them any differently. You know, I figured out why my hair never grew longer than this. It's longer now than I think it used to be when I was a teenager. Well, maybe not. It's because I used to sit in school and I would pick off all the split ends. You see, I have quite a few split ends there. I would just pick them all off. No wonder my hair never grew any longer than that. Of course, I never really paid attention to why it didn't grow longer. Boy, there's a lot of split ends. There's no cream rinse here. Yes, especially the young. The things that they are fed on television are so far beneath the standard of decency. If your grandmother would have been horrified by it, it's probably not good. I have this cream rinse at home which says it does 80% of your, 80% less split end, or less, split ends, less breakage, 80% less breakage. I don't know how they've measured that. Have they actually measured it, or they just think it is, or is there a reason, or is that false advertising if they say it and it's not true? Do they have to say the truth? Hi, yes, I'm having a little visit online. Anyway, my son was watching you weave a basket on my TV last night. He looked amazed. Oh, cool. Yeah, that was when I was doing it this morning, I think. I made this little tiny basket. It took me an hour and 45 minutes. And it's, I don't know. The base is about like that, I guess. The top, the basket itself was this big, and then the handle. Really cute. And Enika liked it. She was really happy to have it. I'm so glad I took the time to do it. It was so simple to make a small one. And I have a problem when I make these videos, finding a way to put the camera so the camera can see what I'm doing. I don't know. I guess if I wore a head cam that might work, but sometimes, you know, I never know where it's pointing, and I won't know until I look at the video. And so if I've got it flat or if I've moved it, by the time I've got the video, I have no idea which direction it was. I'll have to make a video just of this is flat, this is tipped more. And then maybe I can figure it out that way. I don't know. I haven't gone to the trouble of doing that. You see, because it's not that important to me, it's important to you, and I'm so selfish, I don't think about those things. Well, one day I'll be better. At least I can notice it. Oh, it was the bigger basket. Now that took me 5 hours, I think. Or 5.5. Usually a basket takes 4 hours. But I had to prepare the vines as well. And then I kept breaking it, and I had to pull them out and start over. Oh, you want me to curl my hair again? That was fun, wasn't it? I left the curler at home in Canada. I'm so glad I came. I'm so glad I was able to come. I was invited, and it's really lovely. I enjoy being here. It's fascinating. I just love the roads, and I love driving. I love learning the language. There's this introductory Dutch. This lady, I forget her name. She's so happy, and she gives lessons online for free in beginner's Dutch and intermediate Dutch. And so when the television is on, I look at it and I try to. Um, if you put your knee out too straight, it overextends, and then it's hard to come back. Yes, yeah, I'm really glad I went. Thank you, Susan. She's glad I went too. It's been a good thing, and I'm glad I packed what I packed. I've used everything I brought. I've been eating up the nuts. I've been soaking them, like Grateful says, and I've been um, eating the nuts, and I've been eating all the different foodstuffs I brought, and I've been using the electrical wiring stuff I brought, and my laptop. I used it in the hotel more, and all the what else have I brought? Socks, and I did bring two shorter skirts and two very long skirts, and I wear the shorter skirt under the long skirt. I mean, they're both long, but one is longer. And I've got all these blouses. I think I brought three polyester slippery kind of blouses and two sweaters. And I have worn all three blouses at a time, and once the sweater and the sleeves have those pink sleeves. So I didn't overpack really. Oh, and I brought all these jars of nuts and jars of oxamal. So those things aren't going to go home with me. But they have these little. I got a sketchbook, and I got a box of pastels. Were €2 each. Like even changing the dollar, it's like €3 each for Canadian dollar. I don't know what the American dollar is. Might be equal. Oh, it. Thank you, thank you. It's got a lot of problems here. It's got lots of split ends. You can't really see it too much, can you? All these little bumps. But if I wash it and use that cream rinse, it's very good, and it does stay nice for a lot longer. It doesn't get this stuff. But I don't have any with me. I didn't bring it. I thought, oh, it'll be in the hotel. Well, wouldn't you know, they don't put shampoo in the hotel room. At least not at the Delta Hotel, they didn't. And then at the Bastion, they put shampoo in there, but no cream rinse. I haven't checked here to see if Lily has it. It just never has seemed convenient to do. And I don't like to wash my hair when it's cold if I'm going to go outside. And I don't want to wash my hair before I go to bed because it'll be wet and I'll be cold. And we've just been, I don't know, we've just been so busy. So anyway. But I don't want to, I cannot wash it. It'll be fine. It looks the same. But I've been brushing it, which is probably not good for it. So, the ships have been going by while I haven't been here. We had a beautiful sunset tonight. The sky turned so many colors. We were eating dinner. Oh, I was going to tell you what we ate. So tonight, Inika used brown mushrooms, and they don't turn to water. You know, they don't release so much water and become just rubbery. They retain their shape. They retain their firmness, the brown mushrooms, as opposed to the white ones. I never knew that. And and we had some cranberry juice. And you know me, I'm always trying things. And so there was this cranberry juice, and I thought it was regular cranberry juice, which would taste sweet, or not so much sweet, but this was concentrated. There was no water added, which was kind of a mistake to take so much. But so after I had finished my salad, it was balsamic vinegar with pepper and I don't know what all was in it. But anyway, it tasted pretty good. And so I spooned it into the cranberry juice, and it really improved the flavor. It was much better after that. It softened it. I think my hair is red on the ends. Such important details that are worthy of being on YouTube forever. I've been trying something new on my hair, argan oil. Then it's not so dry and seems not to be falling out as much. Rapunzel soon enough, though. That's what Regina said, and then before that was Susan. You know, when I was a young girl, there's a few things I want to tell you about. I want to tell you about the player piano. But when I was a young girl, my sister, her hair was different than mine, and if she didn't wash it, it would be very greasy. It would be oily, and she realized that if you don't touch your scalp, that you don't get greasy hair. And so I too stopped touching my scalp. And so I've always had very dry hair. And of course, if you brush it 100 times, like I thought you were supposed to do, or 50 times, you just break all the ends off. And so I don't, but I tried brushing the scalp the other day and brushing and brushing and brushing, and I think it made a difference. But I only did it the once. I think it just I break off too much when I brush it that much. Oh well. But another thing, we were at this music museum in Utrecht, and it's the biggest music museum, and it's got all these street organs and also those roller music boxes. Willem has one. He used to put it under his pillow when he was a child, and he would turn it on and it would play for a while. And he had it under his pillow and he would sleep with it there or, listen to it when he was in bed. Anyway, his is broken. It won't work. And so Ineke was suggesting that we photograph it all, the workings of it, and maybe they in this museum they know more about it than anywhere, and maybe they can help tell us how to fix it, or perhaps a clock maker. It's kind of a clock-like mechanism in there, so maybe they could even fix it. I don't know if they're skilled about that. Certainly not in Canada where they don't have music boxes like that. Oh, when I was youth, when I was about 6, I think, we moved into a house, and I can remember being in grade 2 at that school, at Longfellow Elementary School in Teaneck, New Jersey, but I don't remember grade 1 at all. Wouldn't it be fascinating to go back and see the school, see the classrooms? Wouldn't that be interesting? Anyway, but when we moved to that house the last year we lived there for 1 year, and we moved at the end of the year to Georgia, and I went into 3rd grade in Georgia. So it was in 2nd grade. I spent 2nd grade in that house, so I would have been 6 in 1st grade, so I would have been 7. No, we moved when I was 7. Oh, before my birthday. My birthday was in September. Anyway, so we had a player piano, and you'd open the doors on it, up, where you put your music, and there was this piece of paper that would go around and it had all these holes in it, and the keys would go down. And you'd see the keys going down as the music played, and it was just the neatest thing. And so I put my fingers on it, and to pretend like I was playing it, to let my fingers fall with the keys. But we didn't bring it with us when we went to Georgia. I don't know exactly what we did bring, but we brought, I don't know. I guess we brought the furniture from my grandmother, which I guess we must have had there too. Interesting, I don't remember the furnishings in either of those 2 houses in Teaneck, but I would think that they would be the same furniture we had in Georgia because it had all been given to them by their parents, by my father's parents. Interesting, eh? Do you ever think about things like that? Remember things from when you were young? Try to piece it together. You know, I was swimming at this hot tub in at home where you can go for a swim, and long enough to do little laps, maybe 5-stroke laps. And I was trying to do something while think about something while I was swimming, and so I did one lap, and I thought, now what do I know about when I was one? And so I thought about where I was born, and what my mother had told me. You know, that my sister would run up and down I would be in the pram or the stroller or the carriage, I guess, and Cynthia would run up and down the driveway, the walkway to the sidewalk. I'm going to go back to that house and have a look. I have the apartment number. Anyway, or the address. So that's what I did when I was one. And when I was 2, my brother was born. And when I was 3, we lived in New Jersey. And when I was 4, we lived in New Jersey. And the things that I remember, you know, when we got a bicycle, we got bicycles when I lived in New Jersey. And I learned to ride a bike there on the driveway. It was a very steep driveway, but I learned to ride a bike. And then go through all the years of your life and what you did during that year. It was very interesting, you know. This year my first son was born, and then my daughter was born, and then my son was born. So my daughter was 2, and then my son was born, and then the next year he would have been 1, and she was 3. And so I was trying to remember. And so if you go through all your life, what an interesting thing to do with your life. But once you get up into the higher years, it's kind of redundant, you know, like, well, when I was 59, I don't know what happened when I was 59, but I can remember when my mother died, and so I would know which years I went back and forth to my mother, and then, you know, when my father died, when my mother died, when my brother died, and then the year I had a heart attack, and the year I had, you know, hysterectomy, and all these different things, you know, year I had hips replacement, the year I had cancer, a little bit of cancer on my nose, and the year they took that out. And try that. It's kind of an interesting exercise if you have time that you're doing something where you have to count, and it's kind of a long time between them, like you're doing laps around the house or something. Anyway, I have to keep my mind busy, you know. I'm so glad I have the sketchbook. I'm so glad I'm going to do that, and I'm improving my joints, my fingers, so that I can sketch better. I used to be able to really sketch well. I could draw a face and all the shapes. You see, you don't draw what you imagine, you draw exactly what you see, right? So you draw, like from here, I can see my nose, right? So you draw the line that comes up here and goes that way, and it's dark, right? And then there's another line, this line that goes across the top of my nose right here. In the shape that is, you know, it goes up and can't really see it. Yeah, it's kind of a dark patch there, right? And then this is this shape right here. It's kind of a triangular shape with a but it comes down to here. So it's not the shape of what your nose looks like, what you know that your nose looks like. It's the shape that you see. This shape like that and across there is light. And then there's a bit of a light line there. And then there's the line here, and then your dark area there, and then this dark patch there. And you have to look at the shape of it. And you see the exact shape of that, and you draw that shape, you know. And this line, you put your hand, if you know what it looks like, you put your finger there. Say that line is, well, the line, you know, and then you put draw a picture of Bear. Hi, Bear. Hi, Bear. Bear, where are you? Oh, there you are, Bear. Hello, 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 Bear. How are you? Sorry, that's Susan's dog, and I have to talk to her dog, so he'll wag his tail and yes, Bear, is that you? Oh dear. Anyway, so I love to draw, and I used to be able to draw faces so that they really looked like the people, you know. Sometimes it's a bit difficult with, you know, you really got to get the eyes correct. You've got to have the line, the shape of the eye has to be correct. They have to be the right distance apart. And so the way I would always draw a face is I would start here, and I would draw one eye, and then I would draw the side of the nose and the line, and then and maybe the whole nose down here too. And then I would move over and I would draw the other eye, and then I would move up and I would do the glasses, and you know, and then I would do this down here and this, and just make sure that everything is in proportion. You know the width of your eye and the width of the other one isn't going to be the same if you're on an angle, and you're not symmetrical. You know, you're just not symmetrical. Look in the mirror at your husband, and you'll see that his face is totally lopsided. That's because we're not symmetrical. But we're used to seeing ourselves looking lopsided. I do rattle on. So Regina, how was your trip? Where did you go? You were in Destin, and what did you do in Destin? I guess Destin is kind of a resort. Did you go to the resort in Destin? That's where you were? I've been there. It was quite an interesting place, but I forget everything about it now. I went to one place in Florida where my son, Abraham, found shark's teeth on the beach. It was a children's thing, and the object was to go and find shark's teeth, and they're just little teeth, and he was so proud of these teeth. He had a whole pile of them, and so we went to a restaurant, and you know, he's been raised in the woods, and he went over to somebody's table, and the people at the next table, he went over, he took all these shark's teeth out and put them on the table to show them. See, look at them. This is my little Abraham. He was such a sweet little fella. He was quiet. He was very quiet. He was beaten up by his brother all the time. Not physically beaten up, but well, maybe sometimes was always having to go in there and scold Daniel. Don't do that. Don't hurt him. Stop it. You know, or don't say, he would say mean things to him. You're so stupid, or you know, what a horrible thing to grow up like that. Oh, well, and I tried so hard to protect him from that. I tried so hard, and I was completely helpless to control the situation. I could separate them. I could send Daniel to his room. But, you know, Abraham would follow him. You know, like Abraham was Daniel's shadow. Always. Right up until he got schizophrenia. That was the end of the Abraham as I knew him. It's very sad. But he's a wonderful person. He's got such a gentle soul, and everybody that knows him loves him, you know? So I guess I should probably go watch Conference. It's been nice talking to you. I had a lovely time today. I love driving on the streets. I checked the GPS ahead of time. I always say I'm going to leave, and then I'm here for like a half an hour later as I remember all these things I'm going to say. Isn't that funny? It was so nice visiting with Willem's brother. You know, they are alike in some ways, but different in a lot of ways. And Willem is the very intelligent older brother. And Lute is also intelligent, but not as Willem is quiet and very focused and very academic, you know, very studious. And Lute is more outgoing and talkative. Willem is quite introverted. But they both love music. But it was it was interesting because, okay, it was interesting because my sister and I were like that. My sister was much more introverted. She had straight blonde hair, she still does, and she was very studious. She would read and read and read. She'd read Gone with the Wind when she was in 5th grade, and War and Peace. Who wants to read War and Peace? Do you ever want to read War and Peace? Is that like on your hit list? No, I don't care. What? Who cares what's in War and Peace? I'd rather read a book on how to make a basket, how to do stained glass, how to do woodworking, how to tat. Mostly make baskets, that's my favorite. And weaving. Oh, I have a new idea. All this fleece I have so much fleece. Well, I told you the other day I'm going to make a comforter. I'm going to make really fluffy fleece, and then I'm going to put 2 sheets and I'm going to sew it all together and put lots of ties on it so it's a nice fluffy quilt. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to make a blanket. I'm going to make a felt blanket. Like these wool blankets, they're woven, but there's no reason you couldn't felt one. And then I'm going to make a sweater. I'm going to felt a sweater. I think that'll be very nice. I have a whole bunch of these bags of wool from llamas and alpaca and different kinds of animals. And I think I even have cashmere. Anyway, and I think but I don't know which they are now. I'll have to go back to the herder or the shearer and ask. But I think I can do that. Just felting is so simple. I felted slippers before. They were quite tall. They became boot liners. I did them with alpaca. I think that's going to be very, very nice. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that a neat idea? And there must be a formula for how much shrinkage you get from wool when you felt it. And so I'll just apply that. I have felted mitts. I felted a hat. I really liked my felted hat. That was really nice and comfortable. It had a string. It was a very kind of a pointed little hat. It's very nice. You just take a cardboard pattern and you put that in there and you put all your fleece going this way, very thin, and then this way, and then this way. And you make sure that you overlap the layers as you meet the front and the back. And then you just, pour water on it or pour soap on it, and then you just pat it. Use a sheer curtain around it, and you pat it, and then you take a bubble wrap and roll it up in bubble wrap. Put bubble wrap on both sides and roll it up. And then you wring it, and you twist it, and you step on it, and you roll it, and it felts, and you get this amazing thing, and your piece of cardboard, of course, gets all wet and soggy, but it's still holding the layers apart. I suppose you could do it with something more solid than cardboard, maybe plastic, a piece of something, whatever. Anyway, plastic might slip out of the way, so cardboard is a good thing. Maybe some kind of a waterproof thing, but it has to be able to be rolled up. Maybe bubble wrap. You could put a piece of bubble wrap, but you don't want it to slide out of place, because if you felt the front and the back together, so much for that. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Okay, so I guess that's it. I'm going to go. So I love you all so much. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me and watching all the videos, and for all the kind things you've said. And I told Willem about your comments about how beautiful his piano playing was yesterday. Was that yesterday? This morning I woke up and I thought, oh my gosh, we've got to go all the way to Utrecht today. Don't we get a break? But it was really fun. Oh, you saw the video with the kids helping us felt that yurt. Yeah, that was really fun. That was really good. Those were big panels. The yurt is, I think it's 7 feet high, and I'm not sure how far around, maybe 15 feet. I think there were 6 panels. They were all triangular sort of shapes with a flat top. I think it was a flat top. And then we had a top that went on it, I think. And then we had a wooden frame that someone built for it. I asked if I could buy the yurt, and they didn't even realize they still had it. Okay, Susan. Well, night-night. I hope you keep taking your turmeric so that you can sleep. She has gallstones, and I think it may just dissolve them. I think it may make them smaller, which is what's taking the pain away. Oh, you know what they have over here for pain? Ibuprofen gel. You can put ibuprofen gel on your sore body parts. Boy, after we had walked all through Utrecht and all through the museum and stood there at the tour, it's very hard standing. After a while, your back really hurts. Unless you bend your knees and kind of bounce a bit. I tried to do that in the train so I wouldn't have to hold on to anything. Just bend your knees and, you know, that's your sea legs. Oh, hi, Kelly. I'm just about to go. I'm glad you're here, though. How's everything over there? I love your comments. I'm enjoying all of your comments. I'm on 6 years ago now, finding the comments that you've written. But after all that walking today and standing, my feet hurt, my knees hurt, and my back hurt. That was kind of difficult to have I'm so amazed at how much walking they do. Oh, you know what else I discovered? Oh, good. I'm glad you're doing great. Oh, yes. Is it called kefir? It's called Quark here. Quark. Not the show on CBC Radio, but Quirks and Quarks. But anyway, Quark it's Kwark, I think, in Dutch. It's a thin cheese, like a soft curd, soft cheese curd or something, and it's made out of soybeans. So it was all soy milk based. So I could eat it, and it was so yummy. Oh my gosh, I put honey on it, drizzled honey on it, and it was on strawberries. I sliced them up thin, and then I broke some walnuts. And I put a little salt in, and the salt made all the flavors come alive. It was great. I loved it. And now I want to make quark. Remind me of that when I have no idea what I want to do. If that time ever comes again, I'll have to write it in my journal. Okay, then. So remember, as Red Green says, keep your stick on the ice. Don't hit other people in the heads. And I think that applies to our attitude toward other people. Just keep your stick on the ice. And we're all in this together, and I'm rooting for you. We're all in this together, and I pray for you guys too. And thank you for the things you share with me and where you live. And Kirsten down in the southern part of Holland would like us to come visit next week, but it's 2 hours and 45 minutes each way. I'm not sure. Maybe it would be better if we stayed over if we went there. Have to see if that's possible or how expensive it would be, and figure it out. But I really love getting to know you guys. So good night, everybody. It's 10:35 here. Sleep tight. That means on the old beds that were made out of ropes underneath your feather mattress, you have to tighten those ropes before you sleep. So sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite. That never used to mean anything. Darn it, now it does. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.